Vertical Drop Heroes HD is now available on the PS4, and it takes the idea of an action RPG hack and slash and has your character traveling from up down to the very bottom of each level. But does this game make you feel like a hero, or is it the kind of game that should just be dropped into a pit? In Vertical Drop Heroes, you're playing as a randomly generated hero. Lots of heroes go on this adventure and end up dying along the way, and each time you die, you'll have to start back from the beginning. The game has a big randomness factor as you're traveling through the 10 different distinct levels while battling monsters, gaining experience, new skills, and of course trying to get to the end. After starting the game and picking from one of 3 heroes, whichever one catches your eye a bit more, they have some distinct designs to them, unique names, and then have their stats, which are the real key here. They have different types of weapons they could possibly have, and different amounts of damage they're going to be doing per hit. They let you know all of this, then you can select which of the 3 you like, or you can re-roll the 3 heroes that are selectable by spending a little bit of coins. Once you have selected your hero, you're then dropped into the hub world. In the hub world, you have the ability to spend the gold that you earn on each adventure on getting upgrades, increasing the max attack that the base characters have at the beginning of the next adventure, or how much health they start with, or how much the pacifist orbs end up giving you. One of the cool things is in the game while you're traveling through levels, until you attack an enemy, you're in pacifist mode, which allows you to gain these little orbs of experience and extra money that will of course end up helping you and can net you some other fun surprises as well if you're able to stay in that pacifist mode throughout the course of an entire level. Each of the 10 levels have their own set look and sets of enemies you'll be battling on each, but the layout is changed up each time. This includes not only how many monsters are going to be on the screen, but also the setup for things like the merchants that you'll be able to buy from, the little side quests that you'll be able to complete, as well as the shrines that you'll be able to use. There's a decent variety to the monsters that you will be battling and will provide different challenges, such as monsters that have the ability, of course, to fly around, use projectiles, or can even break apart into smaller monsters. Heck, there's even zombies included that can end up being brought right back to life after you kill them, and you may have to slay them 2, 3, or 4 times in order to finally get rid of them. While traveling through each level, you're going to come across treasure chests that you'll be able to get, of course, more money and bonus experience, as well as cages that will have different heroes locked inside of them. Freeing these heroes, they will aid you for as long as their health ends up lasting, or until you move on to the next level. These heroes include like wizards that will show up, move around the level, and fire blast out of their staff. You have thieves that will run around, leave some extra coins behind as they're attacking enemies, and strong warriors which will teleport and do some pretty good damage to the enemies around. This won't hurt you as far as the pacifist mode goes, but they can activate different traps that are set up that will end up having more enemies spawn if they end up passing them. Just about every level will also have a side quest for you to complete. These are pretty simplistic stuff, usually involving you just finding a random item or killing a certain number of a type of enemy. Basically, when you're going through, you may see like roses laying around. You have to collect 3 roses, and then you'll come to the princess that's just kind of hanging around, and if you give her the 3 roses, she'll give you either experience or gold for helping her out. And the same goes for killing a certain number of creatures or collecting other various objects. If for some reason you're traveling through, of course, and you miss some enemies, miss some treasure, or you end up collecting the items needed for side quests at the very end, you actually get plenty of teleport blocks throughout the course of levels that will take you all the way back to the very top of the level, and then you can work your way back around so that you don't end up missing anything. Then there's the shrines. Now these you usually are going to be spending money, or will have a positive that's kind of balanced by a negative, such as you'll get a key if you activate this shrine, but it'll spawn a few new monsters. Or you can pay a little bit of money and send a big thing of fireballs everywhere, taking out everything in its path, or spend a little bit of money to get an instant increase in your health, or an instant increase in your damage, and sometimes you'll be able to get a bonus amount of experience for also a little bit of a penalty, like spawning more monsters, which usually just ends up netting you more experience. The way that combat's handled in the game is either auto or manual, and you can change this in the options. Basically, manual is you controlling every action that your character performs using the square button to attack, or you can set it to auto, so anytime you get near an enemy, you'll automatically end up attacking and doing damage to them. There's pluses and minuses to this. There's some hit detection sometimes, which may not always work in your favor, so it's kind of a risk if you decide to do just auto battle, but it ended up providing a fun way to travel through the levels, at least in my experience. Also, while going through, each level has a particular effect that's going to come into play. They'll always let you know what that effect is at the beginning of each stage via a statue, but this could involve every enemy you kill exploding and leaving fire behind, and that can end up hurting if you stand on it. You may get it where all enemies and all creatures on the level are flying around. This leads to some pretty funny results, like the flying gnolls in the desert, which I thought was at least pretty humorous, as well as stuff like exploding balls that will go off after their timer depletes, and it will just send fireballs and chaos absolutely everywhere. This is the kind of game you're going to play repeatedly as you continue to die and die and die again, hoping to get back to the main hub with enough money to buy potential new upgrades, so you can ensure that you have a stronger and healthier warrior going into the next battle. There's merchants throughout the course of each of the levels that you'll buy new skills from, and these skills can potentially show up on your new heroes, such as an ability to start off instantly with 5 keys at your disposal with a new hero, or the ability to walk on fire. These, along with increasing your health damage, will be the essential points of making a strong enough hero to make it all the way through the game. One other fun part is that the game can actually be played not just single player, but multiplayer via split screen. You and a friend can join together, each pick one of the randomly generated heroes, and then go on the adventure together. Unfortunately, this is just local though, not online. From the technical side of things, the game ran smoothly. I didn't run into any freezing, major glitching, or crashing of any sort. I also have to say I really like the soundtrack in the game. Vertical Drop Heroes HD is available for $6.99 on the PlayStation 4, and it actually is a cross-buy along with the PlayStation Vita. It unfortunately, though, doesn't feature a full trophy list or a platinum, and it will require multiple completions, including completing the game's New Game Plus, which unlocks, of course, once you beat it the first time, in order to get that 100%. Overall, Vertical Drop Heroes HD is not the most complicated game, or necessarily the longest. The 10 levels may not take you a whole lot of time, it depends on how much you're able to upgrade and how good you end up getting at the game's combat, but what's provided there can be very addictive, especially when it comes to crafting the absolute perfect hero. One thing I love is the touch of when you create a hero and end up using them, when they end up dying and you go back, you'll usually get a chance to pick like the second version of that character. So you'll have like Stormwind the second, and by the time I got through, I'll have like Stormwind the fifth before I finally have that hero that's right in order to finally make it through. In the end, I'm giving Vertical Drop Heroes HD an 8 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.